Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to Congratulations. No, seriously, this is the series where we look at game-winning plays or maneuvers that are epic in some shape or fashion, and we explain why they are awesome. So, let's get started. So, in order to grasp the god-tier level logic here, you have to have at least a decent understanding of the mechanics of Italian autoloaders, as they stand in stark contrast to other So, why is this my favourite combat-oriented tank in the game? Well, it's the skill cap, the pressure cooker logic I'm about to display. The level leap in cold, hard method would not have been possible in any other tank lacking the auto reloader, right? So, the Progetto, the main attribute you've got to bear in mind is the DPM difference between a fully loaded gun and an unloaded gun. When firing one shell and reloading it like a standard tank, you sit, with my loadout at least, at 2,242 damage per minute. That's not exceptional, but it's not a travesty. However, if you unload your gun with no forethought, no awareness, you will be left in a barely armoured box with 1,488 damage per minute. Basically, the more shells you fire, the less capable your tank becomes. Meanwhile, in the IS-28... What did he say? He said the more shells you fire, the less capable your tank becomes. That's some funny shit. So, upon getting into an argument that unfortunately has to be resolved with gunfire in this tank, the thought processes have evolved. They've graduated from aim for weak spot, wait to reload if you rush and ignore step 1. There's more to think about. It's stimulating for my mind and gameplay. It's a tank that punishes you. Wrong decision, but feels very rewarding when you make the right one. So, let's rewind. Blessed am I not by the matchmaking gods here on El Haloof. I'm expected to do well in this match, and I do. I decide I'm going to make my way up the south, considering that this spawn has a massive advantage when attempting that maneuver compared to the west side. However, my ambitions are met with resistance in the form of a T-25 pilot and an LTG. Now, I am going to go into meticulous detail about every part of this combat. So, both myself and this T-25 pilot have made the moves that we have correctly. I pursued my path into the west outcrop, and he's tucked himself away in the opposite corner. We have both cut off lines of fire from the enemy fire support and put ourselves in a position to receive it from our team should the enemy move into our location. So as it stands now, I find myself in a one-on-one engagement with this T-25, therefore I intend to maximise my DPM and I go single shot. I fire one, I reload, my DPM is manageable. However, the LTG then jumps into the engagement as well, creating a 2 versus 1. But the LTG displays some of the worst positional play I've ever seen, and he charges me to engage. Now here's the logic. If the LTG is going to be killed by my team because of his poor positioning, then I don't need DPM to deal with him. What I do want to do, however, is reduce the amount of time that I'm being shot at by 2 tanks. The T-25 is on 641 health when the LTG comes in, and I, knowing I have 720 clip damage, immediately switch to full auto, killing the T-25 in cover. I then try and block the LTG and make him an easy target. But here's the thing, without DPM this guy could destroy me. But as we know, we have fire support and he very shortly gets taken out. And that's a lot of logic over 20 seconds. But often it's performance under pressure that enunciates the difference between luck and consistency. If the LTG had played better, he would have rushed into the T25's position. He might well have died. I probably still would have gone full auto on the T25 because I'd rather be reloading longer in front of an LTG than shorter in front of an LTG and a pilot. But the LTG would then have been feasting on a shell of my former Progetto, and my logic would have been considering how to make the most of the worst rather than take advantage of a mistake. Now, from a medium tank in a top tier decent map scenario, we jump to Prokhorovka in a heavy tank. Or rather, 3 heavy tanks, a platoon of 5100s in a tier 10 game, and god, these things are potential incarnate. These fat French rectangles sit atop a 1,800 clip potential, 6 shells with 300 alpha. Together we could put out 5,400 damage in 13.65 seconds, and that we fully intend to do. Being heavy tanks, despite having the mobility of mediums, we have a chunk of hit points, and coordinated, we're going to be able to kick some serious ass. And now, whereas French autoloaders as a general rule are opportunistic, they're ambush predators, they excel by guarding their hit points closely and trading well. In this circumstance, we have a platoon, and that allows us to push the bar of opportunities available to us, and so we decide to push the hill. Procrastinating a little as we discuss the plan, we call focus fire on the Object 140 as he has the highest DPM. It is essential that we do not stop on the descent to shoot, lest we expose ourselves to all of these positions. And lastly, it's highly unlikely that we'll kill everything in our path, and after unloading, we'll have to face that objectionable 50 seconds reload. So, investing for that, we are all communicating with our team, telling them to follow us, explaining our plan. And here we go. Look at that wave of destruction. Thanks to some great responsive work by the Grill and the Skoda taking full advantage, we laid waste to that whole flank. TARDIS indeed actually survived. What a way to contribute in bottom tier tanks. Erlenberg. Old Erlenberg, which, what? It was better than the new one. I never thought I'd say that old Erlenberg was better, but it's better. Seriously, how would you fuck that up? Now, this game is a yardstick by which you can measure everything not to do on Erlenberg, from my team, and I will cover that in detail, but I'm confronted by the pointlessness of bitching about a map that's no longer present in rotation or relevant to any current gameplay. In light of that, we're going to focus on one very quick gameplay segment. In this circumstance, the team is concluding a conquest of the 9-0 line, during which the Batcher in the middle had the audacity to shoot me. Now, when the TVP gets cleared out from the supporting line to this T10, I can open up a shot on him, but I am not targeting the T10 because of a very simple principle. Put your damage when and where it is valuable. This T10 is dead, whether I shoot him or not. Hawk 12, Batchat, E50. The Batchat in the middle, however, could still potentially get out and impact the game further. In addition to that, my alpha damage is far better spent putting 482 damage into the Batchat than picking up the leftovers on the T10. That's something to bear in mind next time you're winning a flank. If you've got a tank right in front of your whole team that's clearly gonna die, and you've got another tank that's landing away, shoot the tank landing away. Panis, one of the worst maps in the entire game. Oh no, wait, I'm in a heavy tank. It's okay, everyone. Panic over. I'm in a heavy tank. It's fine. Now, let's fast forward to a point where my back is pressed so hard against the wall, I'm genuinely surprised I haven't turned the paint into diamonds. Fear not, though, because I have a lurver. No, I'm serious. For some reason, I genuinely do not understand, this lurver is god tier. Not really sure why. Implausible lurvers aside, Premium is loaded in anticipation of fighting the Mod 1, which is terrifying for a lower tier tank. Even with Premium, I'll find it very, very challenging frontally. That, in addition to its higher DPM and general mobility. When pressure's alleviated somewhat a little while later, we go for a flank on the Mod 1 who is not unaware, and taking a shot myself, I managed to trade well due to my alpha damage, and stop it here. The lurver's coming around the corner behind the Mod 1. Mod 1's encroaching on me. In close quarters, he can dispatch me in myriad ways. And you can all shut up, because that's the correct grammatical use of the word myriad. Okay? The more you know, eh? You don't say a myriad of, that's a tautology. Because myriad... So, knowing that I'm out of my depth, facing a T-54 Mod 1 in a one-on-one fight, I want to use what assets I have, which, in this case, is the lurver. Therefore, I'm gonna plow forward. I block him, I cut off my own shots, but I feed him on a platter to the lurver. Ah, was a beautiful maneuver. Use of teammates, situational awareness, and took down a tank that might well have schooled me had I been less informed. What a maneuver! I covered this somewhat in my last episode of this series, I believe you can find that in the description, but player psychology is a hugely important part of my gameplay. Due to a muscle condition called dystonia, I'm less capable when it comes to single combat than most players who rival my W&8 level. And that prompted me to up my game in other areas such as positioning, team play, and indeed psychology. And this is why my win rate is so disproportionately high compared to my W&8. So thinking about the combat from the enemy's perspective is innately valuable, right, as we can see here. I've been working this corner for a period of time and I managed to get myself spotted. And at this point, all of these guys are pre-aimed for me, and I am a one-shot for certainly the KVA-5. However, at this distance I will not get spotted unless I fire. So, naturally I wait to go unspotted. And then I wait some more. And there's the blind shot. I can now pull out and fire with impunity. Because from that KV's point of view, it looked exactly like I was immediately gonna pull out again. Almost anyone would have taken a blind shot at this corner after what I did, and our skillful anticipation rewards us with a beautiful kill on the KV. Gorgeous stuff. Now, this move may be the most now you're just showing off of the bunch shown here. In the E75, as well as it performs its duties as a heavy tank, it does present some fairly large weak spots to the enemy. Its lower plate is huge compared to the SDI, for example, and its cupola is nearly always presentable too. And this clip is all about using your positioning, awareness and angling to both mitigate your weak spots and take advantage of other people's. So, TC unfortunately gets the worst end of an engagement with the T10, and because of another poor shot from myself, I end up getting face hugged. My cupola is at the top left of my tank, and as such, I put my gun up and I start wiggling my tongue. This both moves my cupola and it blocks it with my gun, which counts as an external module having its own hitbox and potential to block any fired shell. The T10, seeing this, gives up and goes for my tracks, and in response I consider going for his cupola, but I'm well aware that when my hands were shaking at the time playing this game, I was very stressed at the time, I was very liable to have a spasm when moving to fire and miss. Right? However, harking back to awareness, why shoot for the cupola when I could just angle up, reverse, and plow one straight down through the upper plate? Wasn't the most graceful thing by any means, but certainly effective. And yet, that's not the main feature of this replay. Also, rest in peace, Dr. Left on Full. Thank you very much for watching my Twitch content, buddy. The really special moment here comes after I take an ambitious shot at the E75. The Emil 2 appears. Now, I know that the Emil has an aim time of somewhere just below 3 seconds. It might be 2.7, 2.8, somewhere around there. That's not enough time for me to reverse around the corner without exposing my tracks, right, and potentially getting perma-tracked and unloaded on. So, just watch what I pull off here. Did you see it? Let's watch it one more time because it's fucking glorious. Now, I'm going to clarify what exactly happened there. Due to physics, the way the suspension works, when a tank shifts forward and backwards, it will lock a few degrees back and forth on its axis. What that means... one moment. What that means is, if you can tilt your tank, right, forward on its axis, if you can pull forward at the exact moment that a tank shoots at you, what will happen is your upper plate will come forward. Your upper plate will start presenting a bigger target to the enemy because you can see more of it if it's at a flatter angle, and the lower plate, which is normally angled like this and could probably be penned, will have an even greater effective angle. You can mitigate your weak spots and at the same time enhance the very thick armor on the upper plate and present it as a more likely target to be hit by the enemy. And we did that perfectly. The timing needed, oh my god. Hey, Spider. Hello, Mr. Spider. Now, being honest, there's startlingly few circumstances in which to try this in most random battles. But potentially, having it in your repertoire of skills could not only save your life, but it could also make you feel really fucking cool. Thanks for watching.